Everyone, thank you for joining today. I'm Dylan. I'm a co-founder of Simporter, joined by my co-founder Tim, and we're going to jump in. It looks like it's 6 o'clock, so we'll just go ahead and get started.
6 o'clock somewhere.
Right,
11 o'clock East Coast time.
You can see my screen?
Yep.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to be covering home and fabric care, as well as vitamins and oral care trends for 2022. These trends are predicted by our AI software, which helps large CPG companies mostly automate new product research in easy, actionable ways. So we'll start off just a brief intro about the company and how we generated and created the insights in this report. Then we'll jump into fabric care, move on to household cleaning, then oral care, and finish up with vitamins. So before I jump in, I'll just introduce the report or the insights that we'll go over today. We analyzed 47 million data points online, mostly from October 2017 to October 2021, and predicting how current trends that we see today are going to change next year. And so there's two main metrics we'll be reviewing. One is about a growth percentage, and this growth percentage is essentially what is the year-on-year change? So there might be really big trends that are occurring now. We might see them declining next year. Doesn't mean they're going to be small trends. It just means that the trajectory is going to go downward compared to where it's at today. The second main metric we'll be looking at is share of voice. This share of voice metric looks at search, social, and e-commerce reviews to understand at what degree, so among all the data, how are different topics, different attributes being discussed. So on that note, we look at four main data sources: social media data, where it's sentiment or volume mentions at attribute levels; search data, like Google, for example; reviews, sentiment, and also how often are people bringing things up in reviews; and product descriptions, which help us analyze competition. So we find that search is very predictive of what and how consumers will behave in the future. Social is sort of occurring often in line with purchasing, and reviews tend to be after purchase, seeing how are consumers discussing their purchases. What did they like? What did they not like? And our tool takes these data sources and it turns them into predictions of demand. So, what is that going to look like? For how much are consumers going to look for that attribute or purchase it next year? Competition, based on the product descriptions, how are different suppliers going to react to that demand? And passion, which is basically the sentiment. So how emotional, how much do people really care about an attribute? Is it very positive? Are people going to go out and buy a product just because it has that attribute? Or is it more of a neutral or even negative tone around that attribute? So I'll just do a quick 1-minute demo, maybe 2-minute demo of our software. Then we can move on into the rest of the insights. So let's see here. This is an example of our dashboard where you just pick the different category. Because today we're going to be talking about fabric care, I'll just go through to liquid laundry detergents. And here we see our sort of starting point. We see a bunch of dots. They're split into 3 colors: blue, green, yellow. Blue are the different ingredients in the category, yellow are the need states, and green are the sensory attributes. And we see y-axis is the demand score. This is a predicted index on a scale of 0 to 100 for the next 1 to 2 years, predicting how will consumers care, how much demand will there be for each individual attribute. On the x-axis is the competition prediction. This is how will suppliers react to the attribute, how much sort of supply and competition will be around each attribute. So you can identify not just what are those high demand spaces, but also where are the opportunities? Where can you find that white space where competitors aren't going to move in on it, but you can be that first mover? So what you do is you simply hover over different points. So, here we can take this green one, it says minerals or naturally scented, right? And you might click that, and that's the attribute. Let's say you want to learn more about it, you click the Analyze button, and you can get a recommendation of that trend. So it's early now, but it is going to be a future trend. This is something we all know is growing, and it's just a matter of when is it going to hit that peak. The competition is there. It's not super, super small, but it's also not huge yet, like other types of attributes, and demand is growing. And what we can even do, if we really like this attribute, we can click this bookmark here, and we've now added it to our concept. Let's see. Let's bookmark that again because I unbookmarked it. So the next step, once you find your trend, is to actually create a concept. And once you do that, maybe you add a few attributes in there, and we'll just do a concept example. Create a quick package design if you want, but then you describe it, right? You can come up with a few of those. And then you pick some of those attributes you've now bookmarked. So here we see some plant-based attributes, something about active enzymes, biodegradable. You might pick a couple others. Let's just randomly select some here. You might benchmark them based on how important that would be in your concept. Is it going to be the big thing on the front of a package, or is it going to be something more secondary? And then once you've done that, you've now created a concept you can track over time. You can come back to. You can even build up a library of those different concepts to then run a concept test. That's how our software works in short. It goes into a bunch of different categories. It has a few more applications. If you want to learn more, just reach out to mary@simpporter.com and we'll set up a demo with you happily. Now I'll shut up and I'll let Tim go to the next section.